All right, so tying back into kind of what we were doing before. So this is a lot of times I get to this when people are going tight waist ankle. Very, very common thing, breakdown for people to do. This used to be a struggle of mine probably when I was in high school. It's like, everyone's like, you're trying to pull this off. So one thing I started playing around with, and so I was coach on is moving, so we're gonna grab it, we're gonna like lock our arm out, like stiff arm it, and then we're gonna move our body away from it. So from here, right, as I go, I'm actually gonna like rotate my foot down and I'm gonna pivot into it. All right, so I wanna like keep my foot where it is, keep his hand where it is, and move everything else away from it. All right, so in this position, a lot of times our partner's gonna circle behind us. All right, so as they circle behind us, again, I kind of talked about it before, but our foot is on the ground, our butt's on our heel. I've got a good post over here, all right, and I'm balanced on both sides. So they're pushing in, all right. One of the worst things that happens is that we end up kind of like going like this. All right, again, I have no like balance. This person pulls his back. So I'm very balanced here. If there's pressure, all right, I take it, and then I'm gonna move in. So I stand up in like 3 sequences. So this is first, all right, he's driving in, and as he's driving in, I let him drive me forward to here. All right, so from this position, all right, you see I have a triangle. All right, I'm still really, really good. If this person pulls, all right, I'm able to like move back. All right, they try and chop, they try and do anything like that. All right, I've got a good balance, like a balance in the situation. All right, again, he's driving, all right, and then I come up, almost like I'm going like a quad pod with three points. All right, so I'm coming here, and this should really pull us back to like that seat out position. So whether I want to like turn in and drop shoulder, or whether I want to turn this way, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm attacking this hand, all right, I'm dropping in, and wrestling out of the position. So the biggest part of this, I think, is arm stays locked out, all right? So my arm, if I have to like keep it flexed the whole time, it's a lot of my tricep. If I lock my elbow out, it's really, really difficult for them to like pull it in. So here, elbow's locked out, all right, I move my body away from it. Again, pushing in, all right, he's pushing, I come back, and so it's hard to do without pressure. All right, so again, here, I'll have guys stay in this position, I'll have them pull, I'll have them push, all right, just to make sure they have it. And then again, up, all right, and again, just like Ben was talking about, I'm at like a 90 degrees to him. All right, I want to attack him here, I'm gonna be squatted, I can bring elbow inside, or I can attack back in this way. But either way, you see when I've stopped, I'm at like a T. I'm at like a 90 degrees. So shoulder in, all right, I can turn in, all right, I can go underhook, all right, or if you're sneaky, he lets you go, and you try an elbow pass. But so that position makes that tight waist ankle position, not only like do I have to defend it, it allows me to go right to like a counter and an escape. So it makes it so the person doesn't want to do it. One more time. So a couple common things that happen out of this. I attack this, I'll wrestle out. This person circles all the way to his left and pulls it with him. I'll drop the butt, all right, and then wrestling out. So I'll post this hand on the ground and like wrestle and like turn towards our baseball bat series. So this position is probably easy to see it. So attacking here. So if they go and they pull hand back, I'm turning. I'll put a hand on the ground, right, and I'm attacking to it. If they're fast enough, they get all the way around behind me. All right, I can go back to our 0.5. All right, what's on the far side? Lock knee and turn out. All right, or if they're not fast enough, I take my 5-0 and turn out. One last option for this guy, and so this is kind of things that happen. So as I attack this ankle, as I free it, all right, the other option is this guy like wrestles body over top of me. Right, I'm gonna bring my elbow inside, all right, and I'm gonna cross my hands. What this does is allows me to bring it over my head, all right, to this position. Again, over top, all right, or sweep, or 0.5. But so any of those positions, again, I'm just trying to bring things back. And so I think when you start getting good at things, you learn how to funnel people into what you're good at. All right, so I don't want to have a new answer all the time or have to have 50 different answers. If I can bring them back to that baseball bat, if I can turn them into the turtle position where our feet, it makes my job really easy. Do you?
Nope. I got nothing.
That's it. That's all we got. All right, so without a partner, I'll show you 2 ways that we get to our quad pod. And so just jumping into it from referee's position. So again, I want a low base. Our partner, this is for our partner lining up on the left side. All right, so right side, we'll have to do it like, the counter way. But so right here, arm, all right, is on elbow, hands on belly. We're gonna pivot into him first. So we're here, and we're turning. We're actually gonna pivot like into him. All right, a lot of times, person's gonna go tight waist chop. So this will counterbalance that. It's a pivot into him, and afterwards we're gonna pivot back. All right, and again, so going through our quad pod, but we have to seal out. So part of this, all right, part of the reason we're doing, we're in this position is I want my weight off my hands. All right, so you'll see this a lot with like younger kids or people that don't know as much about quad pods. But if weight is leaned into this top hand, all right, this is really, really hard for me to do. All right, and I need a lot on the shoulder strength. But even here, it's hard for me to get to my feet. If I can slide my hand back and send a weight through like my feet, all right, this becomes very, very easy. All right, so anytime we're going to a quad pod, you want to make sure that those hands are back. And even if you have to like walk them back a little bit to get the weight shifted on your feet, that's where you want it to be. So second one, all right, so actually I'll do it one more time, a little different angle. So again, he's on left side. So we're pivoting, fighting into it. All right, elbow comes in. And the second thing, we're pivoting back. All right, the elbow comes up. All right, so here, back to it. Weight is on our feet. You can have them check by like lifting their hands up. If their hands can't lift, that's because there's weight on them. All right, so last one, they're on the left side. So again, we have to fight that tight waist chop. That is going to be like the main thing that we have to worry about in the bat. So if they're on our left side, we're going to bring our hands that way. All right, I'm going to pivot, all right, and step up. All right, I hide this back ankle so they can't grab it, all right, or hook it. All right, either way. So here, up, and then again, I'm like sliding my hands back. All right, so right here, I can lift, I'm good, I'm strong. So just a little different angle, so you can see my feet. So as I turn, I'm trying to turn about 90. If weight reaches into my hands, I'm too far, I'll end up getting chopped on my face. So I want to like stay centered like through here. I just want my arms to turn. All right, I want a big step up, and then I'm coming up here. So again, hands can lift, all right, and then we're ready to escape.
All right, guys, the way we're gonna do this now, Max is gonna actually do the moves. I'm gonna talk through them because when Max is in his quad pod, it's gonna be really, really difficult for you guys to listen to him talk, see him talk. So, Max is in quad pod, right here. Okay, so just one thing I wanna note that Max maybe didn't say is that, right, everyone, depending on their hip flexibility, their growing flexibility, might be a little bit different. Right? We have to have our butt behind our heels, but Max is a little more straight-legged. There's some guys who are more comfortable, a little more bent. So get whatever position feels comfortable for you. Okay. So the very first thing that he has to watch out for is my cradles. Okay. So he's going to be three. I have three. I have one here. I have one here, and I have one here. So I actually have three types of cradles that I can hit. And Max's defense, I'm just going to change this side. Okay, Max's defense is relatively the same for all of them. So if I go here, boom, right there, he's gonna drop, grab hands. Okay, if I go here, boom, he's gonna drop, grab hands. Okay, and if I go here, boom, right there, come up. Well, I would grab hands right there. There. Okay, and so when we have our quad pods, one of the first and obvious things is you have to take care of the cradle defense. If you don't take care of the cradle defense, you should not be quad podding. Cradle is one of the most obvious things that can happen there. So just be cognizant. So one more time, there's three different cradles I can do.
So whichever knee his arm is behind is the knee that hits down. All right, the other one grabs the hand up top. So
again, this cradle, hold on, shoulder cradle. Right. This cradle, this cradle, this cradle. There's three cradles. Okay.
Where we're gonna get behind the knee. And then also, so one thing you talk about, so if you are really, really good in the quad pod and you start feeling the pressure release, if you're good enough and you have a strong back, you can also just stand up. But again, I think it depends a lot on your strength and ability there.
Yeah, so I would say really strong core and neck. You don't necessarily have to drop the knee, you can just kind of power out of it. But especially for young kids, I recommend dropping the knee. The other thing is, once you recognize that those are dangerous, you recognize that those are likely coming. I mean, for me, I feel like that's a free escape or free reversal. Like, Sure, try to cradle me. That's going to make my job really, really easy. So, you know, where in the beginning it might be a fear of the situation, after a while it should become a benefit of the situation more than anything. So that is the first thing you got to worry about. That's cradle defense from your quad pod. All right, guys. Next thing Max tomorrow is my chop. Okay, so Max and quad pod. So this top guy, my chop. And one thing that your kids are gonna want to do when you shoot, they're just gonna do like this weak gimmick right here. Okay, look at, if I'm really gonna chop him, I'm gonna use my thigh here. I'm really gonna put my weight into him. Okay, really gonna use a whole lot of hips to chop him here also. So one thing to know, if Max doesn't have to move, if I'm weak, Max shouldn't move. Right? If I'm doing this weak chop, Max has no reason to move. I'm not making him move, okay? But if my chop is powerful, right there, right now, I'm just gonna pivot into it. Okay, then turn. Yep, see I came to our seal? Like this is when we spent the first part of DVDs in the seal out series. Right there. So let's do it again, face this direction, and we'll just freeze after you pivot, and then we'll show them how you come to the seal. So I chop, boom, he pivots into it right there. He just sucks his elbow, and boom. Right there.
Couple small things to note there. Yeah, I'll kind of go through it. So when I'm down, I'm counterbalancing, and so Ben kind of referenced it before when we were on our feet. And so if he starts driving in, I want to counterbalance. I don't want to move when I don't have to. So whether I've got to like bend knees or drop butt backwards, I want to make sure I don't move. I want to make sure that no weight comes on these hands, so that I can come up. All right. If he's going, right, you'll see there's all this weight, right, he's got it, he's driving. Once I move, right, he has to reposition his body so he can get that weight again. All right, so when he's repositioning, that's my opportunity to come up and get those arms in. All right, and the last thing, behind. All right, so he positions, he's pressuring. So once I have this opening, right, I'm coming up. Right, when I come up, I don't want to come up two hands at once, because I get two hands at once. Well, this person can lock hands. They might move me, but they can also lock hands. If I bring his elbow in first and come here, all right, and then I bring his hand up, all right, he doesn't have any opportunity to lock hands. So there should be just a little bit of leg time. It should be elbow in, hand on that belly, all right, and grab that hand and then start to cut out.
Cool. So that's it, chop. Make sure if it's too weak, you don't need to go in. But if it's a nice strong chop, you have to rotate into it. As Max talked about, it's going to alleviate the pressure. Boom, elbow's going to come in. And obviously, we spent the first part of this DVD talking about our seal out series and how we clear up from there. So you should have practiced it. You should be good at that. And it should be pretty simplistic. All right, next position we're going to talk about quad pod, and they do a spiral. So it is important to acknowledge when he's quadding, spiral can be multiple things, right? So I always say, you know, which arm is short, is it the front arm or the back arm? So my spiral could be like here, where I'm just on the shoulder there, and you know, some people do it with their fist here, or obviously I could have like a deep spiral, which is probably more popular, but like where I'm going to go claw, you know, and I'm all the way up here on the claw. And then typically if I'm deep on the claw, my backhand's a little bit shorter on his legs. So next, let's put it that way, because you're going to tap the base hand. So with this hand, it's basing me in, that's the hand that Max is going to tap.
Yeah, so in here, so in this position, all the weight, all the power is coming from this back hand. So if I can't, I want to tap fingers and pull out. So if this guy's super slow, all right, almost you would say molasses, if we can get it out, we're going to come up. And again, it doesn't take long. As soon as I start feeling enough weight off, he's got that hand there. As soon as I feel enough weight off, I'm coming up and I'm coming out. I want to pinch this arm. All right, if I leave this, he can use it to go to waist. He can use it to go to leg. He can use it to wherever he wants here. So I want to pinch this here, and then I can kind of capture. So even this here stops him and slows him down from like moving. All right, if I can catch his hand, I'll catch his hand, and then it kind of becomes the same thing. I'm going to bring this elbow inside, drop my shoulder down. All right, and we cut out there. All right, what's likely to happen? All right, so that one is a very unlikely situation. All right, what's likely to happen against the better riders, as I attack here, this guy's going to go cross wrist. All right, he's waiting for that. All right, the one thing he doesn't have here is he doesn't have like any pressure forward. So I can come up now, and then this actually gets back to a position that Ben talked about earlier on, we're sealing out. All right, most people here keep this hand because this hand is good. All right, it stops him from doing it. But if I stay here, he pulls it back, he goes 2-on-1, he goes cross wrist, now I'm in trouble. All all right? This guy has a false lock, and by that, all right, he's only connected because I'm connected, all right? If I let go of this, all right, and drop that shoulder, all right, he no longer has this, all right? So again, without like going to quad pod, the sequence is, all right, he's got hand, I attack, all right, he's going there, I want to let go as soon as I can and drop that shoulder down to be able to attack out of his position. If I hold that hand, it's actually going to allow him to get the position he wants. And the last one we'll talk about arm here. So there's two ways to do it. So when he's not claw, if he's here, all right, I technically could come here and attack this with two hands, all right? And then this person's got a tight waist, but if I get this tight, I can usually clear space, get in, and roll shoulder down. Or if you just really like attacking that anchor hand, that base hand, you can attack this, and then the same situation ensues. If I can get it out, all right, I'll get it out. All right, so he's gonna be on this side. All right, or if he grabs cross wrist, I just have to be ready to drop that in there and wrestle out. But the hard thing is that, especially with youth kids, they keep their hands on the ground when they should be standing up. So if this guy gets this cross wrist and I have a weight on the ground here, he's probably gonna be driving me down and I'm gonna be out. All right, I'm gonna be like down back on the ground on my face. So as soon as I attack that and I know that cross wrist is coming, I need to get my hands off the ground and get like my feet underneath. Do you have anything to add on that? Nope.
Looks good to me.
All right.
All right. Oh, I got flustered. Very flustered. Okay, last defense we're going to do is the single leg to when they're in the quad pod. So, and again, at the college level, because of the new rules, it is significantly less likely that they're going to drop to the leg. That being said, high school, it's definitely one of the most likely things to happen. So Max in the quad pod, okay. I start sliding here, boom, I attack the leg. So obviously, if you go back to our first clip on this DVD, when we're talking about defending a single leg from our seal position, a lot of stuff matches, right? So as I slide here, Max is sliding with me, blocking with his body. If I go just high here, Max is able to attack hand, lean into me there, boom, okay? If I go low, boom, Max shifts in, boom, as I go low, he's able to slide the European sprawl out right there. In the case that I beat him, he can always kick away off.
Yeah, so it's, I'll just show it too. But so I feel like if he gets below my knee, I feel like I have a hard time getting to him. So if he drops like shoulder below, just trying to look like, and come out. You also might have the option to go like Hamlin or something like that. Shin wizard is a terrible idea. And if you guys want more on the Hamlin position, you guys can check out our single leg DVD.
But so one important thing, let's recognize that Max face straight up with the camera. Quad. Yeah, face. Let's turn it straight. Okay, is move you right there, straight. Okay. Is watch how much he is neutral spined right now. His spine is directly between his 2 feet and his hips, right? He's balanced here. But as Max feels me move, look at his body flows with me, right? His body moves to where, now freeze right there. Look how far shifted he is. Almost all of his weight here is now centered over this leg. His chest is tight there. It's gonna make it really hard for me to get a good grip on his leg. And his thing is like super heavy, right? So if he shifts back that way, for me to pick up his leg is relatively easy. It's not a joint weight. When he shifts this way, right, also this leg becomes really heavy. That's something that kids struggle with. It's a feel thing, it's a balance thing. So that ability to just shift all the weight one way, that's really important. If you can't do that part of it, then defending the single leg is going to be relatively impossible. So, as I shift, Max shifts with me, boom, he attacks hands, and clears out of it. Okay? So, that covers defending the single leg from the quad pod. Next clip, we're just going to kind of tie them all together. We did a whole bunch of things today, and I'm going to tie them all together in one piece. Hope you guys like all those quad pod defenses.
All right, so just talking about, legs do come in when we hit quad pod, and so Ben would contest, I think that.
Well, he's got a good quad pod thing coming in.
Let's just say, he can say they have a good quad pod, and so Ben, so it also depends on the type of quad pod. So Ben is more bent-legged, and which makes this opening really, really small. So for people who throw legs in, it's really, really hard. And so I'll note throwing leg in near side is probably the one you have to worry about. If you throw a leg in far side, we'll talk about this a little bit, but that is kind of not a thing.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Well, the other thing to pay attention to, just go over back.
No, it's
is if your kids have the weight of their hands, that's when it becomes really easy. If I move Max forward here, okay, now obviously me throwing a leg in becomes relatively easy. And so, we always want to pay attention to position. So here, I think I'm a good wrestler. I don't want to throw a leg on that. That does not look good to me, but I'm going to let Max show the defense anyways.
Yeah, so I would say, if you guys have bent leg, it's maybe a little bit less, but it'll end up being the same thing. So for me, and I'm always quad pod this side, but so as I quad pod up, I'll float, and I actually float, so you'll see, I'm not square. I actually truly probably float a little bit to whatever side they're on, and I'm pinching my leg and my elbow, my knee and my elbow, so if they do throw a leg, over top.
I don't even want to throw this in.
Yeah, I know. But I'll catch and I'll turn into it. And so a lot of times they'll float behind and I'll end up in a crack back type position. Throw a leg in, this knee leg back here. Come on, boss.
Well,
I know you're not, but so it'll end up turning in to this position here. It'll end up being able to shelf it or crack down. And then the other one, if they jump that far side. So if you're here and they try and jump in and throw far side, you realistically,
how do I do that?
Go to talk.
I'm not doing it. No, go. I'll do it.
But so they're not going to jump up and ride you like a pony. They're gonna throw that leg in far side. So they oh yeah.
I'm on your side now.
I'm
supposed to be on your side.
I'm gonna stand up at that point. So if you're
I got bad hip. I can't do this.
All right,
we're done. Go back down. Go back down.
But so they're going to throw us far side, but they have to take all their weight off to do it. But it happens a ton with our younger guys especially.
I'll do it. Go down. Do it again.
Sure you are.
These young kids are not good at wrestling. That's fine.
But so guys are throwing here, and so they have no weight. So really, just the hand should come up, and at this point, they can't put any weight with their leg ride. But especially if we'll have little kids stay, it's younger kids stay down there. But even into high school. And those guys will go what's it called? Not a splito position, but a banana splits type position, which is also absurd. Anyway, so leg ride defense from the quad pod. All right, so last thing, I just want to tie in seal out to our seal out. Quad pods into our seal out. But Ben's mind is blown. I'm trying to seal out. All right, so quad pod into our seal out. But so a lot of times our guys will seal out and then they'll go to it and they'll kind of forget about the hands. So if I do seal out and I can attack it, I'll put a hand out and then I can do a quad pod with one hand, not two. So I'll turn and again I'll keep this back side. So this, if it's a tight waist or it's on hip bone, this is how they're going to put weight forward. So if I can keep this here, it leads us right into this position. And then same thing too, if I have a near side of the hand, so if I'm reaching across, all right, so if I'm here and he's got a one-on-one and I fight, rather than letting this go, if we can keep these hands, we've done a lot of the work. So I can post hand, I can pivot up, all right, and then again, I can bring this elbow inside, all right, and slip shoulder down. But it just allows you to tie some of that hand fighting into your quad pods as well.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed all this stuff. I just want to kind of tie everything back together for you. So we did seal out series in the beginning. We did Max's seal out series with all his moves, and then we also did the quad pod. One of the things I think is really, really important to acknowledge about the bottom position is it's different than top or neutral in the sense that you need to react to what they do a lot, right? On your feet, you may, but ideally you're doing what you want to do, right? I'm faking, I'm pulling, I'm moving. I want my partner to react to me. Now on bottom, say Max gets back in that quad pod. If Max wants to defend the chop, but I go to the single leg, well, I win, right? If Max wants to defend the single leg, but I go to cradle, I win, okay? And so Max here, he has to react to me, right? That's not the same on our feet. And on top, we can largely dictate what we want to do, right? At the position, on bottom, it's all about, for me, it's all about recognition. So let's just break down that quad pod because we just did it for you. So look, Okay. Don't pause, Max. Okay. Look, if I'm going to go to the single leg, can I do it from right here? The answer is no. Right? Can I pick Max's leg up from here? I can't. Okay. So in order for me, just don't move yet, Max. In order for me to pick this leg up, I have to move to here. Okay. So if Max feels me moving to here, he should be recognizing that. Okay. Can I cradle from here? I can't. Right? In order for me to cradle, I have to move to here or to here. Right? And so, does Max have to worry about a cradle when I'm right here? And the answer to that is obviously not. He must feel where I'm going, be able to recognize that, and then largely predict the road. Can I chop from here? No, right from my chop, I'm going to be in here, and this is where I'm going to chop from. Okay, so for the bottom position, obviously you're good, Max. And you know, with Max's series that he did with the baseball bat, we can say some really similar things about what the top person can or can't do, where their body position needs to be. And so for a bottom man, the action is largely being dictated by the top person. That being said, if the bottom man has great recognition capabilities about what he can do, where he needs to be, then largely the bottom person can predict where the top person is going to go. Okay? And now obviously when it comes to high level wrestling, you're not sitting here like a math person, well, if 6 plus 6, well, that equals 12. Okay? It's more of like you've been through the situations over and over and over again, and you're literally feeling where it's going and you're reacting to it in very quick motion. So for me, you know, someone understanding which defenses to do when someone goes to a single leg and a quad pod, it's kind of easy, right? But now, actually recognizing how to do those things in real time, feeling them, going to them, that's the one that gets really challenging. So for me, bottom position is a lot about recognition of the situation, and that then being causing you to be able to predict what's going to happen next, do the right move, and then boom, you get your escape or reversal. So, you know, I hope you kind of saw that as we went through different positions. All 3 positions we really focused on here. It was like, if they do this, if they do this, if they do this, there's got to be a recognition of what the top person is going to try to do, and then which makes a prediction of what we should do. The better you're able to predict, the more frequently you're going to get away. So I hope you guys like that. We kind of dug deep on those 3 situations. I feel like it tied those together, and hopefully that can help you guys recognize and predict and get out in a way more often.